Hey, so I just wanted to come on here and talk about Don Lemon and Georgia Fort being arrested. Two journalists have been arrested in America for reporting on a protest, an anti ICE protest that happened inside a church. And I just want to speak clearly about what this is. Don Lemon is a black gay man, Georgia Fort is a woman of color. And so I see very clearly what the administration is doing and how those instances of them being othered from straight white people and straight white men are why they were great targets for this. Because I speak to a lot of people who are conservative Christians down in Alabama all the time, and I know what gets through to them. The killing of Alex Preddy got through to them, like it got through to Kyle Rittenhouse. Alex Preddy was a straight white man who served veterans, ICU nurse, and was carrying a legal firearm. And so there were several lines that crossed. And so the administration knew that they had to roll that back because they'd overstepped on Second Amendment rights and a straight white man. I was watching really how Renee Good's murder was handled, and several things there, her being married to a woman and the woman being out there taunting people. I really just felt like how that was portrayed. I could see there was not a consistent calling of Renee's partner as her wife, and they were married, is my understanding. And so I just really was like, okay, of course, they're lesbians out there protesting. And so that was a way that I could see my conservative family back in Alabama othering her. And I know for a fact my family is never like Don Lemon. And so I just want to call that out and say I acknowledge that. Also, the fact that it wasn't a church, they're using this to get to those conservative Christians to say that, oh, they were interrupting a church service and that's awful. But they don't say anything about, them arresting people outside of churches here in Chicago, which ICE did. They stood outside of churches and were arresting people. So with Alex Preddy, we saw a rolling back. They tried to roll back what was going on in Minneapolis. You saw Greg Bovino get out and Tom Homan get in there, and you saw them start to talk about like, we're going to follow the rules, all this kind of stuff. And we're all looking for ways to get some relief, to feel like we're going to be okay, to feel like we're going to be normal again. And I felt that in myself. There was a moment that I let myself be like, oh, wow, keep speaking up, keep showing up, but maybe it's having an effect. And the thing is, I feel like, it's just like the football being moved, like Lucy removing the football from Charlie Brown over and over again. And we've seen this. It's been 10 years of Trump and the MAGA movement. Every time you feel like they are being human beings in some way, or actually having humanity, or like making some kind of sense that this is not leading towards a fascist takeover, they undo it pretty quickly. And so once again, we see that. So I just wanted to come on here and say that this is another line that we've crossed. Independent journalism is how the truth is getting out. And if they really are tamping down ICE raids and these tactics that they've been using in Minneapolis, and they used last year here in Chicago, then why can't we film it? You see the independent journalists, Georgia Fort and Don Lemon, they're independent. They don't have major corporations behind them. And that's why when you go back to CBS News and Barry Weiss killing that piece, that 60 Minutes piece about the prison, because they didn't have the White House on record. And they did. The White House had said, we have no comment. That is it. But you have these major corporations that have either been sued into submission or have been bought by people who were submitting to the Trump regime. So all of that to say is I'm noticing the patterns. We're seeing the patterns. And it's scary. But if I have any privilege as a white person, I want to use it to stand and have my voice used to call out what is going on here with the targeted arrests of Don Lemon and Georgia Fort.